Hello guys, welcome to Swing for Pips. So today in our Forex class, we're going to be talking about support and resistance. And trust me, this one class you don't want to miss. The concept may be a very familiar concept with people, but you'll be surprised at how many traders actually miss their way around this basic concept of support and resistance. So without much further ado, let's dive straight into the subject matter of the day and see how we can bring out the mystery and demystify the mystery behind support and resistance. So we'll be going straight to the chart here. All right. So looking at this diagram in front of you, there's something I'd like to bring to your attention that you see in the forex market, especially when it comes to technical analysis. Okay, when it comes to technical analysis, there are only three lines you can find in the market. I mean, on your charts rather. You cannot do better than these three lines. You cannot do anything outside of these three lines. Okay, these three lines are all you got. As basic as it is, the fundamentals of the whole thing is that it all boils down to three lines when you're trading. No matter how simple or how complicated the trading strategy is, or your approach to the market is. So the first line you can see here is the vertical line, the diagonal line, and then the horizontal line. You can't do better than these three lines. So what is support and resistance? Support and resistance simply means a point on the chart where price bounces off or where price breaks through. That's all what support and resistance is. A place where price bounces off or a horizontal line where price breaks through to another level. Support and resistance are merely levels on your chart. Horizontal levels on your chart. I repeat, horizontal levels on your chart. That's all it is. Okay. So the thing is that there are many concepts in the forex market, in the forex space. In this trading business that we do, we have supply and demand. We have fair value gaps. We hear things like order blocks. We hear things like SMC liquidity. All these are lines. They are all lines. They are all levels in the forex trading chart. Okay, so it's just as support and resistance is just an approach to analyzing the market. Okay, so it's all about drawing a line on your chart, simply drawing a line on your charts. Okay, and then coming to tell where the position of price is at the moment. Okay, price going up, down. Like I said, a line where price bounces off, goes down, can come here, bounce off again, go down, or it breaks through the line. Okay, comes back to the line, bounces off, goes up, bounces up, down, up, down, breaks again, and then continues. Okay, that's what supply and resistance is. Okay, so now when the price is approaching the line, okay, from north, from the north. So let's consider this the north. Let's consider this place here. Now let me do it like this, and here. I consider this place the north. Okay, and then I consider this place the south. Okay, so this is the level marked on the chart, and then price comes from the south going towards the line. When it hits the line, okay, we call it a resistance. So coming from the bottom going up is called resistance. All right. Going for the bottom, going from the bottom, come on. Going from the bottom, I call it resistance. All right. Now, if the same price comes from the top now, okay, it is now called support. So that's price now coming from the nuts, price coming from the nuts, coming down towards the line. It's now called support. So above the line it's called support, underneath the line is called resistance. Okay, so now let's get a more practical view of this. All right, now you see price coming doing this. Let's say price is in an uptrend. Okay, let's say price is bullish in an uptrend, going up and down. Okay, and then we draw another trend, and then we draw another trend of price doing this also. That's a bearish trend. Okay, in our other classes coming up, we're going to be defining these terms: bearish, and then price also being bullish, going up this direction. Okay, so this is bullish, a bullish trend, a bullish trend, and then here we have bearish trend. Say okay. Okay, so now this is what we have pointed out: the price going up bullish and then the price coming down bearish. So now support and resistance are just turning points on your charts. Okay, so we have this here, and then another point here, then another point here, up here. So can we see all these peaks and valleys? Okay, so can you see these points here? This is a support. Here is also a support. This point, we have another point here. So we can have this right here also. So this is what price basically does when it comes to support and resistance. Okay, bouncing off levels, bouncing off levels. Okay, so now what you want to do is this: you can also apply the same concept right here: support and resistance, support and resistance right here. Okay, so now price usually do this. Sometimes price can come to the area, to the line, play along the area and still go the other direction. So it is important to also mention that. So now going forward, now we'll see that at this point here we have, when price is underneath the line, it is called resistance. At this point here, it is called support. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this here. Okay, here we have it as support, and then here on top here we have it as resistance. So you can also bring it right here. The same concept applies to this point here. Also here it is resistance up here, and then right here it is right here it is support. Okay, so now that's what it basically is. So the best other time that we can actually use to the best example we can actually use to buttress our points when it comes to support and resistance, actually to dive into the charts and just put out some examples and do some annotations on the chart so that you can see it clearly as it's being practicalized. Okay, so now we move to the chart. This is the DXY. okay, the dollar index. All right, so we're going to start with the monthly time frame. Here in Sweet for Pips, we are swing traders, so we actually trade on the higher time frame. Okay, so we start from sometimes start from the 3 months, then we start from the monthly, go down to the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and then to the 4 hour, which is usually our entry time frame as the 4 hour and the daily, depending on the market condition, what the market is presenting to us. So without much further ado, I'd like to draw the support and resistance line here. This is an example. Okay, this is a clear case of a support and resistance line. You want to look for those points that actually jump at you from the chart. But the thing is that I've been doing this for years, so I can easily plot these lines. All right. But if you are new to trading or you're at an intermediate level in trading, it may take you a while for you to be able to master these things. All right. And that's has to do with a lot of testing of your your strategy. You have to spend time with the charts. You have to practice, practice, and practice. Okay. So the idea is this now. You need to understand that support and resistance lines are just the basic. It's just the basic of the concept of support and resistance. Support and resistance as it is actually an area or a zone. Okay, an area or a zone. So it's just like when we're in primary school, they are teaching us how to draw a car, and then you just do some line diagrams. All right, and then later, after doing some line diagrams, you perfected the art, and then after some time, your teacher gives you crayon, gives you pencil colors, and then you add flesh to it, add some more form to the design. All right, so as it is, what you want to do is actually look at support and resistance as an area or a zone. Okay, so all you have to do is just to see this. Can you see this tool here on your trading view? Okay, you just pick this up and just draw a center line like this. Okay, so this is how it plays out. All right, so we're going to migrate from the concept of support and resistance line to support and resistance area or zone. Okay, so going forward, we'll be talking about zones and um, we'll be talking about area. Okay, so I'll be using them interchangeably. That's support and resistance zone and support and resistance areas. So going forward, we have this point here jumping at us. Okay, let me make this line green. I would like to make this line green right here. So you come line green here and say okay. So you can see the line that we drew earlier. So we just actually blew it out to make it more colorful. So we have one area here, we have another area here, and then we have another area right up here. Okay, so for me, these are the lines that are actually popping out at me. These are the areas that are popping out at me at for support and resistance on this chart. Okay, on the monthly time frame. Okay, so like I said, you always start with the monthly time frame, then you go down, and then you keep looking for the areas of support and resistance as you keep going. So we jump down to the weekly. Let's see which other areas that we can spot out. So what I'll do is just to remove this line for now. Okay, so here on the weekly, let me go down to this to the month, back to the monthly here. So I'm gonna make this visibility on the weekly and on the daily. Okay, on the weekly and on the daily chart. I might as well have done this on my own and then bring it to this class, but I would like you to see the process and see these little details that could also help you when you are doing your analysis on your chart. So now we have this on the monthly. Okay, so I'm going to point out some things to you. I'm going to point out some things to you. All right, you take this, you mark this point, you mark this point, you mark this point right here and here. Okay, it's another point here, another point here, another point here, and then another point here where price had a turn. Okay, so we do this and then we can now go down to the weekly. Let me remove this point here and then go down to the weekly. Okay, so the weekly, same thing here. We can also see some points here on the weekly. Okay, so we take out our rectangular tool and then we go to the weekly time frame, weekly annotation. There's a point here for us on the weekly. Okay, there is another point. So I'm just gonna copy these lines here. Okay, there's another point right here on the weekly. Okay, and then we have another point right here on the weekly. Okay, and then I can see another one right here also on the weekly. So now you keep doing this. So like I said, with practice comes perfection. All right, so we do this again. Then okay, there's another point right here actually also on the weekly. So this is the basic idea. You can actually, you need to understand that, see, the charts, the forex charts are fractal. All right, the market is fractal. What you do on the monthly, you can do on the weekly. You can also do on the daily. So you keep going down. You keep going down until you meet the time. You get to the time frame where you actually want to. You just have to, okay, according to your trading plan. This is your sequence, and you're not going below either the 4 hour. You're not going below the 1 hour. You just stick to what you know. Okay, what time frame you're actually trying to perfect. For me, for us here in Swim for Pips, we use the monthly, we use the weekly, we use the daily, and the 4 hour. So the idea is just for you to show you. The idea here is to just show you, all right, what support and resistance is. In our up and coming classes, we're talking about multiple time frame analysis on how you can go from the highest time frame, which is it for we. It's here. It is the 3 months, the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour. All right, so it's just for us to present the idea of support and resistance right here in the class here for you to know what it is. Okay, so here we take the tool here. We can see here on the weekly we have this point here. This is a resistance. This is support here. This is actually on the monthly. We come here also on the weekly. We have resistance here. So we have here resistance, turn support, and support turn resistance here. Okay, so we have another point here also. We have another point here, and we have another point right here. So going forward, we'll be talking about things like spillage. Okay, price coming to test the zone. Sometimes you just penetrate the zone by a few pips and then go the other way. All right, so we have this points marked out also on the weekly. We have these points marked out here. We can see something here very close, and then we can also see something here. We can see something here also. So we can see the points. Okay, can we see the points? So right there, those are support and resistance points. Okay, so for instance here we have resistance here. Here on the monthly we have support. Here we have resistance. Here we also have support right here. Okay, here we have support. Okay, and then so here we have resistance. Here we have support. Here we have support. Here we have resistance. Yeah, we have resistance here, and then we have support right here. Okay, so I'm going to pull up another chart and see how we can also draw some annotations on that chart. Okay, so let's go to, let me take out, let me see. Okay, the USD card. I like to use I like trading the USD pairs because they give you very clean chart formations. Okay, so now, like I said, we're going to start with the monthly time frame because that's what we do here. Okay, the highest time frame, the monthly time frame. So we will take this drawing tool here, the rectangular tool, go to the monthly. So the first zone here is right here. Okay, and then the next zone is right here. Okay, so what you want to do is I want to just mark a particular point. So you want to extend it to the left, and you also want to extend it to the right. Okay, so you bring it, you just copy this zone, you copy this zone here. You can see another zone right here, and I can see another zone just around this area here. Okay, let me pick this one out. There are other sub zones also, but these are the ones that are more obvious. Okay, so depending on how you want to do it, you can always extend it some more to the left if you actually have more price action to the left. But I can see that this area here, just this area here, is enough price action to buttress our points. Okay, so right here on the monthly, we can make some annotations here. Okay, we can see these points here. This is the resistance zone. That's price coming all the way from here, hitting this resistance here, and then going down. Okay, then we have another zone here, have another point here, resistance, resistance, we have another point here, resistance, resistance. Okay, so here we have support right here, we have support right here. Okay, and then we keep going, you can see that price actually played around here also. Here also, you can see that it's a strong zone where price actually came to play before taking in the other direction. So we have something here also, we have something here, we have something here. Okay, so this is what we have on the chart on the monthly here. All right, so we want to go to the weekly. Let's see what the weekly have for us. Okay, we go to the weekly charts. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. Okay, so here on the weekly, we also have another zone right here. We have another zone right here. So you just want to actually look for those points where price actually, had a pause and took the other and went the other way. Here, right here. So we have a point right here on the weekly. Point right here on the weekly. Extend this all the way to the back. So we have another point right here on the weekly. Okay, and then we have another point right here on the weekly also. So I'm just going to mark out 3 points here, right here on the weekly. Okay, so now this is what we have here. Okay, so we have a point here, that's support. Okay, and then we have another point here also. Price also played around here on the weekly. We have another point here, we have another point here. Okay, we have a point here, we have a point here. Okay, and then we keep going back and forth until we mark out all the zones that are actually pointing out at us. So what the idea is that you, from time to time, you keep seeing price going, moving in this direction. Maybe it hits here, come place here, go down here, like this. So this is how price move. Price doesn't move in a straight line. Sometimes to play here, go up, come here again. So like that. Okay, price keep doing all these things. So now the thing is this: there's more elements, okay, attached to the subject of supply of support and resistance. Okay, I keep saying supply and demand because actually here in Pursuit of Peace we are supply and demand traders. Okay, but the thing is this: you have to know about other elements such as support and resistance, because it's going to enable you and it's going to help you when you're actually trading supply and demand. So this is actually the basic approach to support and resistance. Okay, know how to mark them on your charts. Okay, you have to, as long as you can get 1 point where price has turned, that becomes a resistance or a support. As long as one peak or one valley has been formed. Okay, all right. This is a peak here. This is a valley here. As long as one of these have been formed, you can actually draw your line there, and then here you can also draw your line. Okay, the more touches you get on a particular line, be it support or be it resistance, the more powerful that zone or that area becomes. So guys, that's it for today. That's it for support and resistance today. Okay, so we'll be meeting in our next class where we'll be talking about other subject matters around supply and demand trading. Okay, and also other concepts that help you become a better swing trader. Okay, so what you want to do right now is to take your time, pick up a clean chart. Okay, start from the monthly, go down to the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, and see how you can draw out these lines. Okay, we can watch the video over and over again so you can get the concept. Like I mentioned earlier, prices are fractal, the market is fractal. So whatever applies to the monthly zone, also applies to the weekly, to the daily, and to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, going down all the way to the 1 minute time frame. Price is fractal. So depending on what sequence you are trading in the market, okay, stick with the sequence. If you are trading the monthly sequence, then you trade the weekly, the daily, the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour. All right. So, like I said, price is fractal. Okay. So just take your time, practice this out on your chart, and see how better you become as a trader going forward. Okay. So, thank you for paying attention to these lessons today. All right. I pray you do better. I hope you do better, and keep practicing as become a better trader day by day. Don't forget to swing and chill for pips, because that's what we do here at Swing for Pips. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.